What is financial capability? Many of the people we help are facing challenges, such as long-term pay freezes, cuts to benefits, a general rise in the cost of living and a lack of affordable housing. Those who were just getting by are now finding it hard to cope with paying for essentials. Managing your finances in this climate is more important than ever.
Why is financial capability important to me?
Financial capability allows you to take control of your finances, make the most of your money, and improve your life. Our ability to manage money can be influenced by our attitudes, motivations, and opportunities, as well as our skills and knowledge. Financial capability is not just what you know, but whether you have the willingness, confidence, and opportunity to act. It includes budgeting, planning for future financial needs, choosing financial products, and understanding financial matters such as bank accounts and interest rates. None of us are perfect at managing our finances, and we could all find ways to improve. Set a goal. This could be paying down debt, saving for a wedding, a holiday, or a deposit for a house. Make a plan. Work out the steps you need to take to achieve your goal. This could include cutting back on non-essentials, putting away more savings, or increasing your income. Take action. Start to put your plan into action. Seek support. Like most goals, you're more likely to achieve them if you have support. This can be from your family or friends, professional support from a money advisor or financial advisor, or using online resources. Review regularly. Life happens and things can change. Review your situation to check you are on target and adjust your plan if needed to overcome challenges. Try to remain focused and stay on track. Budgeting and financial planning.
I never seem to have any money left at the end of the month. I've no idea where it goes. Can you help me, please?
The first step to taking control of your finances is to know your budget. Budgeting is important as it helps you see what money you have coming in and keep track of what money goes out. This helps ensure essential bills are paid, work out payments towards any debts, and plan for future spending or savings. Before you start, gather together pay slips, bank statements, benefit letters, pension statements, bills and any paperwork relating to debts owed. Add up all your household income. Remember to include contributions from other members of the household. Note down all your monthly spending and don't forget the little items. Try to allow for unexpected expenditure like vet fees or car repairs. Make sure you allow for future spending commitments such as birthdays, holidays, and payments due annually. You'll find it easier to manage these expenses if you plan ahead and budget for them. Think about how you would replace essential household items. It's important that your budget accurately reflects your situation. Carefully go through your bank statements and bills. If it's unclear where your money goes, keep a spending diary. Some costs will be fixed like rent and council tax, and some will be flexible like food and housekeeping. Try to set aside funds for emergencies and include savings as an expense. That way you'll account for them. Once you've completed your budget, if there's a shortfall, think about whether you could make any savings. For example, look at switching fuel suppliers or reducing phone costs. Think about whether there are any ways you could increase your income. If you have a budget shortfall and you're struggling, seek advice. If you have any money left at the end of the month, consider whether you could put more away in savings. Sticking to a budget can be challenging. As well as keeping a spending diary, you could also use budgeting apps to keep track of your money and use jam jar accounts to separate different areas of expenditure. If you prefer, use a pen and paper. Regularly review your finances to stay on track. Being aware of your financial situation can help you to stay in control. Plan your spending and avoid or manage financial difficulties. Ask yourself, do I need it? Can I afford it? Can I get a cheaper deal? Savings.
I'd like to save some money, but I can't afford to. What can I do?
Even very small changes will allow you to save some money. Taking the time to check through your monthly budget could make a big difference. Most people have areas where they can reduce their spending. This could be by changing a service or supplier, or maybe taking packed lunches to work instead of buying lunch. The money you save could help towards dealing with unexpected events, emergencies, or a specific purchase. Once you have completed your budget and identified areas where you might make savings, how are you going to make the most of them? Spend some time thinking about what's motivating you to save. This will help you to set a goal. You might be saving for a financial buffer to help deal with any emergencies. A life event like starting a family or planning for retirement. A specific purchase like a house, a car or a holiday. Whatever it is, setting a goal will help you stay on track by keeping you focused. By saving a small sum of money regularly, it will soon become a much larger sum. Setting up a standing order means you won't need to remember to pay the money in, and if you separate your savings into another account, you're less likely to dip into it and you'll have a better chance of achieving your goal. Check out what interest rate you'll get on your account. Every time your interest is paid, you'll start earning interest on that too. Start to save as soon as you can, but if you have credit cards, store cards or other loans, you may want to think about paying these off first. This is because it will usually cost you more to continue with borrowing than you're likely to make through savings. There are lots of options available for saving, and choosing the best one for you will depend on your circumstances and what you want to achieve. A savings account with a higher interest rate will usually mean there will be a longer notice period to take your money out. So, if you need immediate access to your money, an account like this may not be suitable for you. A credit union could be a great place for you to save your money. They are owned by and run by members who pool their savings, so they can lend to each other, and they usually have a common interest, like the same employer or same geographical location. All the profits made are used to improve services or given as dividends to members. Remember, credit unions are all different, so interest rates and products will vary, and you'll need to check whether this is the right option for you. Tax is payable on savings as well as income, but new rules were introduced in April 2016, giving a personal savings allowance. So you don't have to pay tax on the first £1,000 of interest if you're a basic rate taxpayer, or the first £500 if you're a higher rate taxpayer. What can you do to protect your savings from a bank or building society going bust? The Financial Services Compensation Scheme has been set up to protect savers against this and allows you to get compensation if your bank goes bust, up to £85,000 per saver, or £170,000 for joint savers. Check what banking group your bank is in, and if you have more than £85,000 to save, put the rest into another banking group to ensure you get full protection. Investing.
I've got a bit of money put by. I'd like to invest, but I don't want to risk losing it.
Investing your hard-earned cash can be quite daunting if you've never done it before, but knowing the different options will help you get started. Investments are something that you buy or put money into to make a profit, and they fall into four main categories. cash, which is money in banks or building societies, fixed interest securities or bonds, which is loaning money to a company or government, shares, which is buying a stake in a company, or property, which is investing in a physical building. Other types of investments could include foreign currency, commodities like coffee or oil, and collectibles like antiques, jewellery or art. The term portfolio is used to describe the different assets owned by an individual investor. If you make a profit on your investment, it's called a return, and depending on what you have invested your money in, it can be paid in a variety of different ways. Interest is paid on cash and fixed interest securities. Dividends are paid on shares. Rent is paid on property, and capital gains are paid on the difference between the price paid and the price the property is sold for. You may want someone to manage your investments for you, and this service provider will charge a fee, so you should always check before signing up to anything. Making the most of your savings by investing can be risky. Even a cash deposit in a savings account has some risk attached to it, as the interest rate paid may not keep up with inflation. The risk you take will generally fall into 3 categories: low, medium, or high. Your circumstances and risk appetite will usually determine which category you fall into. As a general rule, try not to risk any money you can't afford to lose, and think about what you want to achieve. Do you have a short, medium, or long-term goal, as this will influence the kind of investment decisions you make? Spreading your risk by investing your money across different products with different risk values can be a good idea, as you'll then have other investments to fall back on if one doesn't work out as planned. When you invest your money will depend on your goals, but as a general rule, if you have saved enough money to meet your household expenses for about 6 months, you may want to consider investing any extra money you have. If you want some help deciding what to invest in, you may want to talk to a financial advisor who will discuss your circumstances and goals and offer products suitable for you. This could be on an independent basis, where you will get advice on all products available, or on a restricted basis, where the advisor will only offer advice on a limited range of products or suppliers. A financial advisor will charge fees, but these must be clear and upfront, and there must be an agreement in advance as to how they will be paid. How do you protect yourself from being scammed? The Financial Conduct Authority have a Scam Smart campaign. This gives investors the opportunity to check a warning list online and has great tips for being aware of the latest scams. Research shows that the over 55s are particularly at risk from fraud, as they're most likely to have money to invest. So if in doubt, check the website. Borrowing and credit.
I need to borrow some money. What should I be looking for?
Most of us will have to borrow money at some point in our lives. The key is knowing what products are available and how best to use them. There are many different types of credit. Secured credit, such as mortgages or secured loans, are secured against a property, and if you don't keep up the payments, you could lose your home. Hire purchase agreements for cars or household items are secured against the goods. The goods aren't owned until the final payment has been made and could be repossessed if payments are not maintained. A balance could still be payable even if you return the goods. Unsecured credit is not tied to any asset or goods. This includes personal loans, overdrafts, credit cards, credit unions, and payday loans. Some lenders may insist on a guarantor, which means that someone else will be legally liable for payments if you fail to pay. Before borrowing, ask yourself how much you can afford to repay each month and how long you want to pay it for. If you're expecting a change in circumstances, will this affect your ability to pay? What method of payment suits you best, fixed or flexible? It's important to compare the cost of credit before borrowing. A good starting point is the annual percentage rate, or APR. This refers mainly to the level of interest you need to pay. Lenders must tell you the APR before you sign any agreement. The APR will vary between lenders and types of credit. When comparing APRs, make sure you are comparing loans that are the same type and have the same term. A higher APR over a short term may cost less in interest than a lower APR over a longer term. Interest rates can be fixed or variable. Variable interest rates can go up or down, which can make it difficult to manage if payments increase. Fixed interest can make it easier to budget. Be aware of other costs, such as arrangement fees or early redemption fees, that you are charged if you pay the balance off before the end of the agreement, or balance transfer fees, which will be charged when transferring credit card balances. Most agreements will include charges and fees for missed or late payments. Try to avoid these. Be aware of higher priced goods. Long-term zero-interest deals may appear good value, but check that you're not paying over the odds for the actual product, and consider if there are better ways of financing the purchase. Payment protection insurance isn't always a bad thing. It could cover your payments if your circumstances change, but lenders should never make it a condition for obtaining credit. Check the policy suits your circumstances and that you'll be able to claim if you need to. Make sure you know your budget and try not to borrow any more than you need. Shop around, it's a competitive market. Check the total amount payable, including extra costs. Avoid borrowing to repay existing debt. Be aware of interest-free deals. If you take a payment holiday, which is a break in payments, be aware that this will extend the repayment term. Think about whether you could afford increased payments if interest rates change. Try to avoid unplanned overdrafts. Access to credit will depend on your credit score. With a poor credit score, you may not be able to get credit. A good credit score should give you access to some of the best deals on the market. Check your credit score regularly. This will enable you to take action if your score is low, correct any errors, and protect yourself against fraud. Protecting family and possessions.
How do I make sure my family are okay if things go wrong?
We just don't know what life is going to throw at us. How would you and your family cope if you were hit with an unexpected cost? If you lost your job through sickness or redundancy, could you manage financially? In truth, for many of us, the answer to this is no. So how do you protect the things that are important to you and your family? Knowing exactly what's coming in and going out of your household budget will help you to keep track of essential spending and where you can make cuts if necessary. In today's society, most people have some debts like credit cards, car loans and mortgages, which will need to be paid if they have a drop in income. It's a really good idea to plan to pay off any debts you have. If you can, pay a little more off per month, and if you need credit, try to avoid borrowing more than you need. If you do find that you can't manage your debts, make sure you get good advice as soon as you can. Work towards having at least 3 months' worth of essential living expenses in savings so that you can cover your costs and keep stress levels down if you're faced with a crisis. It will give you some much-needed breathing space while you think about your next steps. Think about what items are essential for your family. It could be that you can't live without a washing machine or the car. Keeping a small pot of money aside to cover repairs will give you less to worry about. You can buy insurance for most things: motor, life, personal accident, travel, pet, mobile phone, payment protection, product warranty, rent guarantee, home contents. The type you buy will depend on your circumstances and the cost of the product you're buying. Before you buy, decide what product or service and the level of cover you need, and compare the cover and the costs from different providers to get the best deal for you. Managing debt.
I've got so many debts I can't pay. What should I do?
Most of us are managing debts in one way or another. You're certainly not alone. It's important to prioritise your debts to make sure you pay them off in the right order. Some debts are more of a priority than others. This is because the consequences of non-payment are more serious. Mortgage or rent arrears could lead to the loss of your home. Council tax arrears could result in further enforcement action and additional charges. Fuel arrears could lead to your fuel supply being disconnected. And if you don't pay your TV licence, you could end up with a criminal record. Make sure you pay these debts before consumer credit debts. Consumer creditors may shout the loudest, but usually have fewer powers. Use savings to pay down debt. Interest on savings is likely to be much less than interest paid on debts. If you have savings, consider using them to reduce or clear the debts. Pay down high-interest debts first. Make sure you leave yourself enough savings for emergencies. Stop borrowing. Borrowing money to clear existing debt is seldom the answer and can often lead to further problems. Try to get into the habit of living within your budget to avoid further borrowing. If you feel your debts are becoming unmanageable, seek advice. There are plenty of options available to help you manage your debts. This could be by making reduced payments through an informal debt management plan, or using legal remedies such as an IVA or bankruptcy. A trained money advisor can help you explore your options and get your finances back on track. Use free advice agencies where possible. The Charity for Civil Servants has its own money advice and guidance service, where you can speak to someone in confidence about your situation and start to take back control. Planning for the future.
I want to retire, but can I afford to?
Retiring is a big step, and it's worrying if you don't know whether you have enough money to live comfortably when you stop working. Most people choose to save for their retirement by contributing to a pension scheme, and the earlier you start saving, the more options you'll have as you approach this new stage in your life. There are 3 main pension scheme options. State pension is paid by the government based on national insurance contributions. These rules change, so please check gov.uk for current legislation and how the rules may apply to you. It's also important to check your contributions. If you have any gaps in your record, you may be able to fill them by paying extra. Remember, you don't have to be working to earn credits. If you receive certain benefits, you will automatically be given credits. Defined contribution pensions are based on contributions from both you and your employer, and can also include any investment returns. If you have this type of pension and you're over 55, you may be able to draw down or withdraw some of your pension pot as a lump sum. This may be useful if you want to pay off some debts, but remember, any drawdown will reduce your overall pension pot, and you will have less money paid as a regular income. Defined benefit pensions are salary related and pay out a secure income. How much you receive will depend on how much you earn and how long you've been paying into the scheme. To work out whether you can afford to retire, you'll need to gather information, so give yourself plenty of time to do this. A good starting point is to work out your retirement income. Make sure you get your pension statements. If you have lost any from past employment, you can use the government's free pension tracing service. Don't forget to include any savings or investments you have. Take another look at your budget. Your income won't be the only thing that changes when you retire. So will your expenditure. You may not be paying as much in travel by not going into work every day, but may be paying more for other things. Think about what you'll need to live comfortably and what kind of things you'll be spending your time doing when you're not working. If you can, pay off any debts. Start by checking the interest rate payable on each debt. And if you have any spare money, pay off the ones with the highest interest rate first. You may decide that you'd like to use any pension tax-free sum to pay off debts, but check whether this is the best option for you. If you need to boost your pension, you may be able to pay more into the scheme or even delay your retirement date. You may want to consider moving money to lower risk investments to protect them as you approach retirement. Get advice. If you're unsure of your options or you need help deciding what to do, talk to an independent financial advisor or contact PensionWise for free impartial advice on pension pot choices. And finally, set a goal. Make a plan. Take action. Seek support. Review regularly. It's your money. Make it matter.